let's talk about Mary Tyler Moore right now. As we said, we've been looking back all morning long. We're going to continue that. Now we want to hear from her in her own words as she looks back on her extraordinary career, including the real story behind that hat throw.
So whose idea was it to walk out in the middle of an intersection and do that?
Well, there was a man who was directing the opening titles, and it was so cold. It was the middle of January here, and he said, you know what would be a good idea, Mary? Go out in the middle of the intersection and take that tam off and throw it in the air. So I did as I was told, and dear Hazel Frederick, who is frozen forever in the background, looking with what appears to be a scowling face at me. And she told me later, because I did meet her, that it was just that she had no idea what was going on, never saw a camera. She just thought there was a lunatic about to lose her life.
The Dick Van Dyke Show, starring Dick Van Dyke.
Bob, are you trying to tell me that we have the wrong baby?
And I had had a week where everything I went to audition for I did not get. And I got a call from my agent saying, Carl Reiner wants to see you about being the wife of Dick Van Dyke on a new series. And I said, no, I'm not going. And he said, you get over there now. And I did, and oh boy. The audition was just to read a scene with him, but I'd had such a crush on him. And I walked in and I was just like,
I don't like to brag, Rhoda, but Lars and I had an incredible love life. Would you like to know how incredible?
Oh, gosh, Phil, I'm
going to tell you how incredible it was. I think Lars summed it up best when he turned to me one night and said, Phyllis, jag har slutat.
It makes me think, what a lucky woman you are to be working with the people who are your very good friends.
Thank you for being my family.
Now for the hard part. How do we leave this room?
And they go shuffling.
Oh, he's got the laugh. Chris Connolly's going to join us right now. Also, People Magazine executive editor Kate Coyne. And Kate, let me start with you. So Mary Tyler Moore is already famous when she finishes up the Dick Van Dyke Show as Laura Petrie. So it's a bit of a risk to take on this role of Mary Richards.
Yeah, famous as playing a wife and a sidekick, and a pretty squeaky clean one at that. And so to then launch into a role in which she's not anybody's wife or girlfriend or daughter even, but she's an independent career woman, not focused on finding love, not focused on landing a man, but focused on making it after all. That took tremendous courage. A lot of guts went into making a move like that career-wise.
And it was so wonderful to see how, even behind the scenes, how she became such a great producer and just really was able to spot talent.
A huge force in that sense.
Yes,
absolutely.
Revolutionary at that time. Hey, Chris Connolly, let's hear from you about this. What is it about the Mary Tyler Moore Show, though, and her performance in it that still resonates today?
I think she was the first woman character on television who got laughs by being good at her job. You know, when we saw people like Lucille Ball, a comic genius, the Vita Vita Benjamin girl, you know, she made us laugh by not being good at what she was doing. Mary Tyler Moore, as Mary Richards, was always good at her job. She managed the egos and insecurities of her coworkers in a way that our heart kind of came out to her for. She was stable and smart. She wasn't perfect, but she was on it the whole way. And we just loved her for it, and that made her a really strong role model for people watching a strong single woman in the workplace for the first time on television.
Yeah, and speaking to that, it was the 1970s. This show, and Mary Tyler Moore herself was brave enough to take on sensitive women's issues, birth control, equal pay, sexual independence. How much of an impact did the show have, Kate, and how big of a role did she have specifically in pushing these issues on the show?
It had a huge impact. I mean, I don't think you could really think about a show from Murphy Brown to 30 Rock to Sex and the City really existing without the path that was blazed by the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Additionally, because it was produced by MTM Productions, the Mary Tyler Moore production shingle, as a producer, Mary Tyler Moore had a tremendous say in the way that Mary Richards was portrayed. That was thanks to her and the fights that she had. Fights that she had, backed by a team of female writers. I mean, there was a huge pool of women writers for the Mary Tyler Moore Show also, which was completely groundbreaking at the time.
And Chris, I have one more question for you. Mary Tyler Moore received an Oscar nomination for her role in Ordinary People, which was against type for her. How significant was that role?
Well, it was very significant. Of course, it was Robert Redford's first directorial project. He said he cast her because he saw her walking on the beach alone at one point and realized there was this whole other side that we hadn't seen from Mary Richards. But that role of an icy, kind of shattered mother was so powerful and packed because we remembered Mary Richards. We remembered Mary Tyler Moore, and to see her going through that made that part even more powerful. And she was great at it and got an Oscar nomination.
And I remember, Chris remembers this too, going back to the Mary Tyler Moore Show. In the first year, it was she might make it after all, and then they changed it to she's gonna make it after all. And boy, did she!
Boy, she sure did, and also did a lot of sharing her own personal struggles
She did.
as well. Helped a lot of people there.